Yes. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. So today we will be doing the 14th chapter. So, do you anybody know what is the 14th chapter name? Yesterday, we did, right? Yeah, 14th chapter name. Yes.
Three modes of nature, material nature.
Yeah, three modes of material nature. Three modes of material nature or Guna Bhaga Yoga. So today's chapter, it is totally dealing with the three modes of material nature. And in the 13th chapter, Krishna explains about Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and the body and the field of activity, the knower and the consciousness. So Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga Yoga. And what must be the connection between the 14th chapter, the three modes of material nature, and the 13th chapter? What can be the connection according to you? What means the connection? In the last chapter, Krishna explains about the field of activity, that is this body, and about the material, material nature. What must be the connection? Why is Krishna continuing here? Yes. Quickly. Okay, so Krishna explains about the three modes of material nature as a continuation of the 13th chapter. He explains further about these three modes of material nature. Last class, in the 13th chapter, Krishna explains about the 24 elements, and one of them was the pradhana and the unmanifested. In that, the three modes of material nature is coming along with this. And then now Krishna explains much more about this detail because the consciousness of a conditioned soul depends upon these three modes of material nature. Okay, so now the first shloka of the 14th chapter says that the blessed Lord said, "Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all the knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection." So Krishna here speaks about again about the knowledge, right? The 13th chapter to the 18th chapter, everything is speaking about the knowledge. So now Krishna explains about this knowledge, and he says, one who knows this knowledge, one who gets this supreme wisdom, can attain the perfect stage, right? Even in the 13th chapter, last shloka, Krishna again explains that this knowledge is perfect, right? Now, in the 14th shloka, again, Krishna speaks about this, that one who understands this knowledge can get the liberation from this material world. Okay, so next, by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born to the time of creation, not disturbed by the dissolution. So creation and dissolution happens, right? Krishna in the 11th chapter says, follows me. That means I am the time, or I am the end, or because of me, I create and then I only dissolute. So at that time, one who understands this knowledge, he gets free from the repeating of birth and death cycle, the cycle of birth and death. He will get liberated from there. So Krishna explains about the three modes of material nature, how they are working with each other, and how this three modes of material nature is trapping the consciousness of a conditioned soul. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by the birth of this material nature, and that is that I am the seed giving father. So Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiyaha Tasam Brahma Mad Yonir Aham Bija Pratapita. So Krishna here declares that I am the seed giving father. Okay, so that means all the living entities are coming here because Krishna is a seed giving father. That means the unwanted or the living entities which are not in service to Krishna, they want to lord over this material world or they don't want to serve Krishna. He himself is giving birth to, or he himself is giving life in this material world as a father, and this material world is acting as a mother when it comes to seed giving father. When Krishna says this, I am the seed giving father, right? He gives birth to Brahma, and from Brahma all the species are coming according to their wishes, right? So in material world, if you see, there are variety of species because each living entity wants its own kind of, we say, right, everyone is unique. Means everything, all the species are in varieties of things, right, in material world, because Krishna created them according to the wish of the living entity, how it is desiring to go forward. So here it should be understood that the species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material world. So Krishna here says that because of the modes of their modes of this material nature, one is one is acting in such a consciousness. Okay, so we see, right, in the Shastras or in the Vedas, it is written that there are many types of species that even the scientists, they could not actually identify or could not even find till now. But then there are so many kinds of species in this earth till now, and it is said that there are 8 lakh different kind of species in aquatics, 11 lakh different kind of species in the plants and trees, and there are many more different kind of species in animal, and then it comes to the human. The if you see what scientists, they try to make us believe that the evolution came from, the fish and the aquatics, and then they became as a insects, and then they became birds, animals, and humans. That is actually proved wrong here, because Krishna created aquatics, at the same time he created man also, right? It is not the evolution of a body happening here, it is happening the evolution of consciousness. It is the consciousness which is developing. In next sloka, Krishna explains about the 3 modes of material nature, how the consciousness is actually depending upon that, right? A person in mode of ignorance. So even in the animals, if you see, there is cow, which is in the mode of sattva, or in the mode of goodness. And then there is lion, there is monkey. Monkey is in the mode of ignorance. Lion in the mode of passion. And this it depends upon, even the species are different, it depends upon the mode of this material world. But then what scientists, they try to prove is, they are trying to prove that the body is evolving. They understood a part of evolution, but then real truth is the soul is getting the consciousness of the soul is evolving from birth to birth. Okay, Krishna says, even at the time of creating aquatics, I created at the same time. It is in Bhagavatam. If you see, the creation of this whole cosmos is given. It is said that at the time when the aquatics were made, at the same time the insects were also made, even the animals, even humans, reptiles, everything is made at the same time. It is not evolving. The consciousness is just evolving from birth. Insect may think, now I want to become a bird, and next life that insect is going to become a bird, or the consciousness of that species is going to increase. But then human species or the humans, there are variety of species even in the humans, right? We are not same. The Indians are not same, looking like a American or Russian or any other country people. We all are different, right? People uh, are different in their activity or consciousness. But the human species is the highest because it has the intellect or to thinking capacity. So here Krishna says that human life is the topmost, and below that animal comes, and below that the bird life, then the reptiles, and then the insects, then the plants, and then the aquatics. Okay, so next Krishna says here 14.5, Sattvam Rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibandanti mahabaho dehe dehi namavyayam. Now what is Krishna saying? Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entities come into contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Now, anyone can tell me what is the difference between goodness, passion, and ignorance? How can we differentiate people in this, or the work we are doing, or easily the differentiation between the people according to their activities, according to the food? How we can differentiate these three modes? Yes. How are you going to differentiate? Yes. Deepak, Jyotish, Saloni, Raja, Shivam, Simran, please answer. How are you going to differentiate these modes of material nature? On what basis? Or how can you tell them these are different? The goodness is different from passion and ignorance. You saw that videos, na? In that, what was the difference between goodness, passion, and ignorance?
The one who is in the mode of goodness, he believes in all the sattvic ahar and sattvic behavior. So vegetarian, no intoxications, everything. Whereas one who is in the mode of ignorance, he might be involved in all types of meat eating or intoxications, and the middle one is in a dilemma whether to go here or there. Uh, it's not fixed that whatever it is.
Huh. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes. Yeah, what Saloni told is correct. Yeah, next, anybody else want to try something? Yes. Shivam.
In the mode of goodness, a person chant a lot and do good deeds.
Hmm.
The surrounding is very uh, harmonious and good.
Hmm.
And in the mode of passion, a
Hmm.
person is kind of stressed all the time. He or she is stressful uh,
Yeah.
because of his or her passion to earn the money, more and more money.
Hmm.
And in ignorance mode, the traits of the person is most of laziness and fearless because they don't care of anything.
Yeah. Very good. Yes. Anybody else? Last chance. Colors only defined here. These three colors, right? The yellow, red, and the black. These colors, right? So yes, whatever you people have told, it's a correct answer. So, sattva, rajas, and tamas. People are in these three modes of nature. So these three modes is easily can be discriminated from each other in their quality, as Simran or Saloni told here, that in the mode of goodness, people try to have a sattvic life or a very good life. Their mind is always calm. They do not get what you tell. They do not get into depression, or at least do not get into a tension so quickly. Their mind is always calm. And then in the passion, their mind or their activities are more towards competitions, or you know um, they want something and they try work very hard to get that temporary things. And then ignorance, they are totally ignorance. The word itself says, right, they are totally ignore, or they don't know what is happening in this world, right? For example, if you see, everybody have gone to colleges and schools. In the schools, there are three sections in the schools: the first or the front benchers, we say, and the last bencher and the middle benchers. So in the front benchers, they mostly are the studious people who always want to study, and they are or we can tell in any part that there are some group of people, some group of students who are very calm, and they study very well, and they score good marks, and they don't want anybody else. Uh, they are not in anybody else's work, or they keep whatever work is there, they'll keep for themselves. There are another kind of students who are very competitive, and they are very jealous of others. They don't want others to get good marks, or they are always in a competitive mode. They are, when an answer paper or something answer script is there, they are always comparing each other. So that kind of people are there. And some people are totally ignorant. Whatever marks, whatever the exam is there, they don't score good marks, and they don't want anybody. They don't want anybody's lecture to them. They are totally ignorance. They are in total ignorance. They don't know what has been taught in the school, what has been their marks. They don't want anything to do. So even in schools we can actually understand. But then another question, in the society, if you see, which would be good suitable, goodness, passion, or ignorance? People should be in goodness or passion or ignorance?
Goodness.
Goodness.
Ideally, it should be goodness, but right now, looking at the society and the competitive field which we are living in, if we are in mode of goodness and if we don't earn money as per the societal standards, then we'll be called beggars eventually. So we have to be in mode of passion for survival.
Yeah. So not exactly that everybody should be in passion, even in the mode of goodness. So if you see in the society, most of them, right, it is said in the Shastras, Kalo Shudra Sambhavan. That means in the age of Kali Yuga, or this age, what we are seeing now, where we are existing now, mostly people are in ignorance, either in ignorance or in the passion. Goodness, hardly we can see people. So goodness, that means they earn money, they do everything, but they are not, their mind is always calm. They think before whatever they do. But in the mode of passion, they are more into, I want things in a faster way. They don't want to wait for anyone. They don't want, their mind is not calm, right? Even in students' life, even in schools or colleges, or even in the jobs, if you see, most of the people, they think, if I am in the mode of passion, then only I can do my best. But the ideal example is of a school or a college, where we always think there is a competitive life, and most of us want to gain something. So most of them think that being in the mode of passion, I can actually get this thing, or pass these things. But then if you actually see, in the mode of goodness, a student in the mode of goodness, he does not read for a competitive perspective. Or if you see, there are students who learn before the day of exam. They do not learn for themselves. So a person in the mode of goodness or a student in the mode of goodness, he learns for his life, right? He learns for his life. Then comes in the mode of passion, a student, he learns only for the exam purpose. And there is a student in the mode of ignorance, he does not read at all. So most of the section of a society are in the mode of passion. They just want immediate, what you tell, they just want immediate results. They don't want to wait, they don't want to think before what they are doing. They just want immediate responses, or that's what we all think is the ideal thing. But then uh, goodness is a good thing for the society, but as far as we can see in the society, most of them are passion and ignorance. And because of this only, the war and so many bad things are happening, because none of the politicians, none of the people are in the mode of goodness, sattva. Even they do the eating, right? Jasa an vaisa man, right? Whatever we are eating, even that is depending upon our consciousness, right? People, most of in the society or in the whole world, if you see, most of them eat rajasic food or tamasic food. Sattvic food, there is no proper diet, there is no proper, what you tell, the timetable or routine for a person. Whatever the mind says, he just goes for it. So that's not the way of living, but then people have totally forgot about it. So Krishna says, when a living entity comes in contact with the nature, he becomes conditioned in these modes, right? So Krishna says, Aham bija pradapita, so I give the seed in this material world. That means I send the living entities who do not want to serve me. I send them, but then when they come here, they are trapped in the mode of material nature. So Tatra sattvam nirmalatvam prakashakam annavayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the other, is illuminating, and it's free from all sinful reactions. Though situated in the mode of developing knowledge, but they do not they are conditioned by the concept of happiness. So Krishna here says that sattva, or the mode of goodness, is very good. They by doing this, they get relief from all the sinful reactions. But then there is something condition over here. They get trapped in the happiness, or you see many of the scholars, they have a good diet, everything, they are very intellectual, philosophical thoughts, but then when there is no appreciation, there is much appreciation for them when they gain knowledge, or they are very proud of their knowledge, right? Here scientists or philosophers, they are very proud of their knowledge. So Krishna says, one in the sattva guna, he collects or develops knowledge, but then he becomes proud of his knowledge. That's the just a dark side of sattva guna, or person who is influenced by that. Then comes about rajas. So those mode of passion, those are in the mode of passion, born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, because of this, one is bound to the material fruitive activities. Now Krishna says, what happens in the mode of passion? There is unlimited desires, right? Most of the, if you see people in this age, most of them are in this category, unlimited desires and longing, right? Because of that, nowadays we are getting much more into the competitive world, because unlimited desire, unlimited, they want something greater position, everybody is trying to go for the same thing, right? I want that position, I want that position, and there is too much disturbance in the society because of this, too much longing. And then about tamas, the mode of ignorance, because of delusion of all living entities, the result of the mode in madness indulgence, and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. Here, a person totally madness, totally mad. He does not know where this world is going towards, and he's totally sleeping. He does not want. He's sleeping whole day, right? So Krishna says here about these things. So now the mode of goodness condition one to happiness, passion conditions to the fruit of action, and ignorance to the madness. Now, person in the mode of sattva or sattvic is conditioned by the happiness that is he getting, because in the mode of passion there is no happiness. Every time you want something to do or something new you want, you're behind something. And in the mode of ignorance, you're totally mad. You don't know what is happening. But in the mode of goodness, you know what is happening and you gain knowledge. But then when you get happiness, you are behind that happiness, right? Most of the people here, if you see, the sattva is above this material world. That means in the not above the material world. In the material world, it is in the above positions. Within this material world only, persons who are in mode of goodness, they're captivated by this happiness, the constant happiness they want to gain from that. And in the mode of passion, they are too much rasic. As Krishna said, they are behind the desires and longings, right? So even in the sleep cycle, if you see, the person in the mode of goodness, he sleeps for 6 hours. That is basic. 6 hours of sleep is enough for a human being. And then in the mode of ignorance, he sleeps for 10 to 12 hours. He goes on sleeping. He sleeps so much more time than required, right? And in the mode of passion, interestingly, the person is not able to sleep, or is sleeping only for 2 hours, because he is constantly working behind the temporary happiness. He is constantly behind the desires. He is behind this, positions what he wants. So the person is hardly able to sleep in the mode of passion. A person who is not able to sleep at the night, that means he's in the mode of passion. That means he wants something for himself. So that is the case of a passion. And in the mode of goodness, his diet or his routine is very regulated, and he follows all the regulative principles. Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata, and sometimes the mode of goodness defeats the passion, and at the other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there are always competition of supremacy. So now Krishna reveals again that even though these three modes are there, these are not constantly going to stay with you, or a person is not by born, he is not in these modes. It is by the consciousness how he is acting, or the activities what he is doing. It depends upon that, right? So now most of the people, when you get fresh up or hear some beautiful kirtans, your mind is getting calm and you are in the mode of sattvic. As soon as you see something materialistic, or at least you hear some pop-up songs or some things really in the mode of passion, your full consciousness or your thinking becomes in the mode of passion, right? Some people said that even in the competitive exams you have to get this mode of passion, right? So and then you're feeling so lazy and you sleep for more than hours, then you become in the mode of ignorance. So there is always a competition between these modes itself. That means this living entity, which is the jiva, it is always bound by these three modes of material nature, and always constantly these modes are changing, interchanging within themselves according to his activities and karmas. So mind is being pulled by the sattva, rajas, tamas. This mind is controlled by these three modes of material nature. The manifestation of mode of goodness can be experienced when the gate of a body illuminated by the knowledge. So now, in the mode of goodness, how can we understand a person now is in the mode of goodness? That means he is interesting towards the knowledge. And then in the chief of Bharata, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develops. Now Krishna explains how can you understand that there is that a person is in the mode of passion, then there is much more desire, right? A person may have a good knowledge, but then at the same time he is attached to something or attached to that knowledge itself. He wants to, or he gets jealous from others who is gaining the same knowledge or something like that. He is acting in the mode of passion. And in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, and inertia, darkness are manifested. So now Krishna again says that in the mode of ignorance, people go mad, right? People who take drugs, people who take alcohol, they do not know where they are, right? This person is so addicted, he doesn't know where he's sitting. He's sitting in the footpath or somewhere, but then he's very fit to work. If you see his physical body, he's fit to work, but then he's addicted to something, and then he has gone mad. What the capacity his body is having, he's not utilizing it. Rather, he is fully sleeping or fully in madness, inertia, illusion, right? So that is in the mode of ignorance. Now, Krishna tells what happens if one dies in so and so consciousness or in these modes of material nature. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains higher planets. And one who dies in the mode of passion takes birth among those engaged in the fruitive activities, and in the mode of ignorance, they take birth in the animal kingdom. So now Krishna explains at the time of death, not just at the time of death, I'll remember, all this, I'll gain some good qualities and I'll die. Not like that. The whole life, what you have done, even in your past karmas, what you have done, all these things are accumulated or getting together at the time of death. It comes like a flashback to you, right? It is said at the time of death, it is said in the Shastras that at the time of death, it is so painful that you are actually sleeping, and at the same time, 4 lakh scorpions are biting you at the same time. That much pain is there for a person at the time of death. And at that time, all these flashbacks, flashbacks, what you have done in your life, all this come in front of you, right? It is very difficult to see a person who is dying, right? It's very difficult because the pain that person is going through is very, very much than even when we are living in this body. So that's too much difficult. But then it is said, one who devotes his life to Krishna, it is just like sleep. When you sleep night and get up in the morning, the death is like that. There is no pain for him. But then one who is trapped in this material world, attachment, the flickering happiness, and even in the mode of ignorance, then he's trapped. And to get out of this material world, when you are too attached to your family, too attached to your body, then taking that soul out of the body is very difficult, and that pain is so uncontrollable. And Krishna says when one dies in so and so consciousness, he attains these results, right? A person who is totally always in a naked position, he does not want, or she does not want to wear anything, always showing off their body in the mode of ignorance, then they are definitely going to get a plant life or a tree. They will going to be a tree because tree is always naked and in the mode of ignorance. They can't walk. They are in the sleeping position. Trees are actually in the sleeping position. But then one who is always, rajasic, tamasic, flesh or something they want to do, then they will go to the animal kingdom. And these are the results are given in one of the shastras. So now even the acting in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, and in the mode of ignorance are very different. So one in the mode of goodness, he becomes purified. He goes to temple. He does, he has a sattvic routine. He goes to temple and he purifies himself. His whatever work he is going to do, it actually purifies him. And in the mode of passion, he is he's always distressed, right? People, the result what you are expecting, you are attached to that result, and one day you are not getting that result. People going to depression. They are too distressed. Their mind is not calm. As I said, they want immediate answers, immediate relief, immediate results. But when they do not get the expected results, then they are, in distress. And in the mode of ignorance, they are foolish. They are totally foolish. They don't know what they are doing in their life. Here you see this image, right? What is this? This is total foolishness. There is no end only. So this is depending upon their work. And in the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. In the mode of passion, grief develops. And in the mode of ignorance, foolish madness and illusion develops. Right? In the mode of goodness, he is very happy because he got the real knowledge. Right? And in the mode of passion, he is totally in a grief. I did not get that. I wanted that. I wanted to achieve that, but I did not get it. Whole life he is going to cry. Right? Dhritarashtra, he was in the mode of ignorance and he is also in the mode of passion. That he was totally crying just because he was blind. He is the king of the whole kingdom, but then he's crying because he's blind. Why? You have got everything, whatever you are having. There are too many assistants to you, but then just because one thing you are attached to, you are not willing to give up that thing. Your whole life is getting ruined, and that is in the mode of passion. Grief develops, and then in the mode of ignorance, illusion, totally mad, foolish things he will do. Right? See this picture. People, the same person, he acts as a three different things according to his situation and his consciousness. Sometimes he is good, sometimes he acts in the mode of passion, sometimes he is totally ignorant or he acts as a foolish person. So those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those who are in the mode of passion live in this earthly planets, and those who are in the mode of goodness, this ignorance, go down to the hellish planets. Right? So sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. So it is like a giant wheel, right? The moment you go up, you feel happy, and the moment you come down, you feel bad. So our this mode of material nature, it is actually playing with us, right? It is like a playground for the living entity. Sometimes it is going in a very good mood. People say, I'm in a good mood today, I'm in a bad mood today, because their moods are dependent upon the mind, and mind is controlled by these three modes of material nature. They are the three modes of material nature playing with the living entity, and that's how sometimes they go to heaven and they go to hell. But these three modes of material nature can't take you to the Lord. They will never take you to the Lord above this material nature. In the spiritual world, most of the religion or most of the people, they say about hell and heaven, but only in the Vedic system there is a mention of spiritual world, right? Um, right, like a plane, it goes up, but there the plane or what you tell? The flight cannot stay there. It should come down, right? It should land up somewhere. Then it will come down. And like this, the ups and downs are born coming in our life. Right? So this is a chart of this whole universe. So Earth is in the middle here. Most of the religion or most of the people, they do not speak about these things. They speak hell and heaven. But then in a Vedic system, it is totally described how this material world is, from where to where, and what is happening here. Right? So Krishna says one who is in the mode of passion, that means is attached to the results, then too much attachment to his results or the desires, then he will stay here in the mode of passion, in the earth itself. And in the mode of ignorance, he will go down below these hellish planets, or hellish planets are still below here, Narakas, but then these are downwards planets. There are demons over here. And then there are people, the Indra and so many demigods in the mode of Sattva. They are there up. They have all the knowledge, but then they are trapped by the opulence over there, right? It can be easily described like in the heavenly planets, they almost forget God in happiness. They forget God in happiness. And in the mode of ignorance, or in the planetary system below Earth, they forget God in the mode of ignorance, or they don't want God itself. There too much grief is there, too much hellish life, too much pain is there, that they have no time to remember God. There is no time to remember the Supreme Personality. But in this earth, they have the freedom to actually remember the Lord. But then when it comes to the mode of these three modes of material nature, these three are actually trapping us, right? You are here, either you will go here when you are dying in the mode of goodness, you will go to these planets, and then when you are back to the rajas, you will come here, and again in the mode of passion, you will go down. So these ups and downs are always there here. But then these three modes of material nature, they won't take you outside this material world. Outside this material world, it will play with you. Take this living entity up, take this living entity down. So there is always a playground, right? The three modes of material nature are working as a puppet holders, and we are all puppets in their hand. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activity, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to these modes, then you know my spiritual nature. So Krishna is above this modes of material nature. When Krishna came here in the 5,000 years ago, he was not under this material modes of material nature, right? People think when Krishna came here, he also cried, he also did it. No, his pastimes are transcendental. He is not like us. Whatever he has done in the in transcendental or spiritual his activities. He is not. He's above this, right? So example is like a man, right? He is here on earth, right? We see sun from far above, but then when there is cloud, we can't see the sun. Dark clouds are there. That means we can't see the sun. The whole city is dark. That does not mean the sun is not existing. Sun is there, sun is existing, but the clouds are covering you. That does not mean the sun is covered by the cloud. No, sun is independent. The cloud is covering the earth or the vision of people on the earth, right? When this cloud is taken out, you can actually see the sun. In the same way, the clouds are these three modes of material nature, and living entities are here. So when the cloud is coming here, that does not mean cloud is covering the sun. That does not mean the modes are the three modes of material nature are affecting the Lord. No, Lord is independent from these modes of material nature, but these modes of material nature are acting on the living entities, the conditioned living entities in this earth. So when Krishna comes here, that does not mean Krishna is under this mode of material nature. He is independent. He is the Lord himself. He is the creator of this mode of material nature. Right? All are his energies here. So, when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes of material nature, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy the nectar even in this life. So now people have a question that, okay, the three modes of material nature are binding us. That means, are we not able to get out of these three modes of material nature from this planet, this earth, or in our life? We are not able to get out of this material modes of material nature. So Krishna says you can get out of this mode of material nature and get the actual nectar of this life. Even living in this life, even in this life, you can actually taste the absolute nectar. How is it? Just do the devotional service, right? In the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Dailyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameve prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This material nature or the maya, right? One who surrenders to Krishna, he actually removes the Maya. And it is not very difficult for Krishna to remove these three modes of material nature with it. Right? So, what should a person do? When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes of material nature, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and all the distresses. That means, how can a person get out of this material nature? Can anybody tell me how can you get out of this modes? How can you get out of these three modes? Is there any way? Think about it. How will you get out of these modes? Yes.
By chanting.
Chanting. Okay, very good. And any other?
Consciousness.
Yeah, that consciousness is now contaminated by three modes of material nature. So now the question is, how will you develop this, or how will you get out of this modes of material nature? One is chanting.
Read books from the disciplic succession.
Reading books by disciplic succession, that means accepting a guru, right? You're going through a disciplic succession. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So one is chanting, or doing devotional service, starting from chanting, right? So the nectar of the chanting or nectar of Harinam is now being said, right? So now Arjuna asks Krishna, "Oh my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known to be transcendental to the modes, to those modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the mode of nature?" Right? We now understood the tamas, rajas, and sattva, right? The mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now Arjuna is now again asking, because Krishna here told that one should be in the mode, one should transcend these three modes. Now Arjuna's question is, how can we identify such a person who has transcended all these three modes of material nature? Right? That was the question. By doing devotional service. Now Krishna now tells about these things. He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear. That means a person neither hates nor get attached to, or nor get he is not disturbed by his situation, nor he is disturbed by any longings or desires what he's getting, even though he is not getting the results, he is not attached to it, right? Who is seated like one unconcerned being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remain firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regard alike the pleasure and pain, and looks the cold and the cloud and the stone and a piece of gold with an equal eyes. So, who is the wise and holds praise and blames the same, blames to be the same, who is unchanged in the honor and dishonor, who treats the friend and the foe alike, who has abandoned all kinds of fruitive activities undertaking, such a man is situated in the transcendental mode of nature. So what is Krishna is explaining here is Shuddha Sattva, or one is above this modes of material nature, right? We understood the living entities come in this world and they are trapped by these three modes of material nature. But then by doing devotional service, he transcends these three modes of material nature and goes to Shuddha Sattva, or he is not attached to any kinds of activity, right? In the mode of goodness, you're what you tell, you're behind the happiness that you're getting in this temporary world, right? But then here it is said that he is neither attached or uh, towards anything, right? Um, he is not in a flickering happiness. He is very calm, he is very patient, and he tries to, he has a lot of patience, and he sees a stone and a gold in equal eyes. That means he has no material attachment to anything. And he is not changed when there is a honor to him, when there is a dishonor. He treats the friend and the foe alike. These all symptoms are there, should be in a devotee. One who calls a devotee, he has these qualities within him. That he sees, that means when you do devotional service, these qualities are developed inside you. And the devotee tries to develop these qualities within him. And one who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends these mode of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Now, Krishna, some of you said that devotional service, chanting, reading books, that means reading transcendental books given by the acharyas, and developing the consciousness, right? So that is much more important. And how can we do it easily? Just by chanting, just by doing devotional service. That is why we request you to chant one round of mala every day, because it takes you out of this, because these three modes of material nature are playing with you. And when you come to know there is supreme person who is controlling these three modes of material nature, it is better to take shelter of that person rather than getting into a playground of these people, these three modes of material nature, right? So how can we take his shelter? By doing devotional service unto him. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman and the conscious constitutional position of unlimited happiness and immortal, which is immortal and imperishable and eternal. So now Krishna explains about himself. He says, I am the impersonal Brahman. That means the light is coming from me. The Brahma Jyoti is coming from me, and I am that Brahman who is a constitutional position of unlimited happiness. Because Krishna is Satchid Ananda Swarupa, right? Krishna is said to be Satchid Ananda. He is Ananda. He is the reservoir of happiness. He is the reservoir of attraction, right? When a person really takes the holy name, he can feel that sweetness in his mouth, and people start crying. Why? Their distress is going from their heart. and then the light of knowledge is taking the darkness of ignorance from their heart. And this happiness is immortal and imperishable and eternal happiness, because the living entity, the position of living entity is always taking the shelter of the Lord. But when it is forgotten that he is a servant of the Lord, when the living entity forgets the position as a servant of the Lord, he comes here as a proprietor, as being a proprietor. He has all bad, what do you tell, bad condition in this life, right? It is like, for example, there is a father and uh, a child, right? When we were in childhood, we used to play this, right? As a role of a father, role of a mother, kitchen, home. We make a small home or a small kitchen by ourselves and try to feed your children, and all our children's only there. Just as a part of a script, you start to act like that. But then you try to you tell your father that do not disturb me. We are having a small family over here. When we were childhood, we used to always do these things. Huh? Uh, your cousin or a brother being a father, your mother, and there are other friends who are acting as the childrens, and there is a home playing like a, we in Hindi we say right, ghar ghar, like playing as a or imitating your parents there, and you're cooking for your children. Although you don't know how to cook, you are playing with each other. But then when you really get hungry, you cannot cook by yourself. You have to go to your father, original father. In the same way, living entities come to this world just for a acting purpose, because Lord is a supreme controller. They want to become controller like their father, that means Krishna, and then they try to make their own world over here, that is this material world, and come here to become a proprietor. They want to act as a president, they want to act as a prime minister, and Krishna grants, okay, become like a prime minister. Their whole life they will be in opulence. But then the real hunger of the soul is serving the Lord. When that hunger comes, then Krishna gives us intelligence how to escape from this material world, right? So the constitutional position of this this jiva is to serve the Lord. Jiva Swarupai Krishna Nitya Das. So what is the constitutional position? That is um, the servant of the Lord. And when the person realizes this, then he can actually attain that happiness. When he goes back to his real father, when he is really hungry, then his actual hunger is satisfied. Although he may play in this material world, but he cannot stay here for more time without his father's love. So, this is the 14th chapter, the three modes of material nature. How these three modes of material nature act on us, and how we can get out of these three modes of material nature. Today we study Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and then the Shuddha Sattva. That means by doing devotional service, one can get out of these three modes of material nature. Yes. So, any questions on the 14th chapter?
Mataji, devotional service means chanting, reading books, and associating with devotees, is it?
Yeah. Devotional service means whatever is favorable in your devotional life. That means associating with the devotees, chanting the Lord's name, eating prasadam, whatever. If you are not able to cook for the Lord, at least you can start from today itself. A glass which is not used by any family members, you can take a glass, new glass, or maybe that should not be used by anybody. You can just fill up water, clean water, and place it in front of the Lord, and then put a small tulsi on top of it, and then offer it to the Lord. Lord will be very pleased, right? So we have to please him. Right? In this material world, if you see, even in this material world, if you help somebody or somebody helps you, what people tell, I will never forget you for this help. Or when you gift somebody, right, in your birthday, when there is somebody who gives you something, you will remember it for a long time, or remember it for 10 years, 20 years, that this person gifted me this thing, this precious thing on my birthday. Think of a Lord who is your actual Father. When you offer something, you chant His holy names. When you read His books relating to Krishna, when you obey the person who is empowered by Krishna, that is the gurus or acharyas, and then you offer prasadam and take it, you are doing for the pleasure of the Lord. Think how much pleasure the Lord must have gained. And He will never forget this, right? Krishna will never forget even a single rose offered to Him, right? So we may offer that single rose, maybe in childhood, maybe in past 10 life back, you must have offered some flower, something to the Lord that Krishna remembers. And because of that one flower, you may get immense pleasure, or may get this knowledge of devotional service towards the Lord. Because understanding Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita is not very easy for anybody, right? Anybody, if you go to the street and start telling to them about Bhagavad Gita, even though human life is very precious, to understand this knowledge, you really need to do something for the Lord. That's why we tell, right? Chant the holy name, because Lord gives you the intelligence to understand this Bhagavad Gita very easily. Okay. So today itself, you can start offering something to the Lord. Maybe fruits, the new fruit you take from the market, you give it to the Lord, offer it to the Lord. And like offer means you give it to the Lord and then put some tulsi and keep it in front of the Lord, and then after some time take it. That is prasadam. You can do it, but there should not be onion, garlic in it, and there should not be tea, coffee, and all these things. But normally other things can be offered to the Lord. Start offering, start doing chanting. Chanting everybody is doing, I guess, no? All are chanting here. One round.
Yes, Mataji.
Very good. Yeah. Any other things? So I wanted to show you a video yesterday that I circulated in the group, but then I'll show you here itself. Okay, I'll stop this live or else